Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody that is here today, everybody that's coming in and sitting down, and those of you that are joining us online as well. You know, really, anybody living in the year 2024 that is not using technology in some way to enhance their communication, pursue leisure, entertainment, or even to access and to help manage their homes is the exception, not the rule. But for those living with ALS, making decisions about when to access technology, what kinds of technology to access, and how to access that technology can feel like a more complicated decision than most of us are making. I am so incredibly honored to be sitting up here with this panel of experts who will be sharing technologies and strategies that are available today to help people with ALS to be living a very fulfilled life. This topic is so broad and so deep, and this panel has so much information to share that I'm keeping my introduction incredibly short. We anticipate that a lot of you will have questions at the end of the session, and so we'll try to save a little time for that. Each of our panelists will introduce themselves a little further, and so without any further ado, John Costello.
Hello, delighted to be here. My name is John Costello. I'm a speech-language pathologist at Boston Children's Hospital and director of our ALS Augmentative Communication Program and our AUGCOM programs there. You know, I've been working in the field of AT and AAC for nearly 40 years now. And over those years, I've heard that referral to explore AAC and AT has been held off for many, many people because it's considered to be a scary referral for people diagnosed with ALS. To be honest with you, even the guidance from our field, from my profession, is that slide gonna move forward? There we go. Even the guidance from my profession suggests that, and in our literature has historically suggested that we shouldn't introduce augmentative alternative communication, or AAC, and assistive technology until someone is demonstrating significant need, until there is some sort of significant change to someone's speech intelligibility, or until someone is having words per minute that are reduced. The typical speaker speaks at an average of 180 to 220 words per minute. If you are from the East Coast, that's more like 300 words per minute. The guidance in our field has been at 140 words per minute is when AAC should be introduced. Essentially what we're doing is we're setting people up for a deficit model. Wait until there are problems. Historically, it's really been unintentionally presented as a scary and unfamiliar thing that kind of portends loss. That's not me. Yet, in the 21st century, right now, we all use augmentative communication. If you look in your pocket, you reach in your pocket, your smartphone that you rely on for so many things is an augmentative method of communication. At home, on your kitchen counter or your bedroom side table, you've got tools that you're using, whether it's your Google or your Amazon. We're all using tools for turning on lights and unlocking doors and starting our phones, starting our cars and adjusting heat and doing all sorts of things. It's a major part of the way we all engage in the 21st century. So, you know, we're really fortunate in Boston to be working with referral sources, to be working with clinics, for example, like the ALS clinic at MGH, the Healy Center, and others in the Boston area that are very focused on proactive versus reactive referrals. The reality is that AAC and AT referrals should occur and support people to continue to do what they want to do and what they're already doing, even if it's something that someone has to do differently. You know, we counsel people when they come into clinic. Don't assume anything is not possible. We're all victims of we don't know what we don't know, and we've had people over the years who don't even ask about supports because they don't think it's actually possible for them to get help. So, you know, we tell people we want first refusal. We as professionals in the AAC-AT world, we want first refusal on supports, whether it's through voice preservation, through voice banking and message banking, supports for continuing to work, social, gaming, leisure, writing, art, music, anything focused on kind of personal enjoyment. You know, recently we had a man who expressed that his major goal was to paint. And he almost sheepishly told us that in clinic, that that's what he wanted to continue to do. And we're able to focus on, well, of course you can continue to do that, and there are tools right now to support you. Someone else who said, I want to continue to coach Little League. And again, of course, there are strategies that we can use. And one of my favorites, as of last week, a gentleman who really wants to continue to participate in his favorite pastime, which is Foxwoods online casino gambling. And he wants to be able to use AT. So that's how we get our marching orders. So when you think about when should a referral for augmentative communication occur, it should happen right now. And what we want is for people to be able to collaborate, to be in control. Last month, someone had told me that they liked an app that allowed them to write and have that writing changed into text and then spoken out. And they were exploring this as a strategy moving forward. And then this woman said to me, but I really wish, she like I, a southpaw, so with her left hand, she said, I really wish that the message window was in a different location because as I'm writing, I'm activating all sorts of other things that I don't mean to activate. I was able to, because she identified that, connect her through email with the app developer in Amsterdam, explained what we wanted. 2 weeks later, it existed. He built in that change because we were able to collaborate and partner very early on. So when we think about all of these strategies, we really want to make sure people have as much control as possible. We have someone else who recently had told me that she wanted to actually be able to use an app and have it, an app that she very much liked with lots of language features built into it for efficiency, but she wanted it to partner with our free mymessagebanking.com service, which, by the way, 8 years ago, thanks to funding from the Prize for Life and ALSA, that whole system exists and now is available around the entire world in multiple languages, free for everyone to use. She wanted to be able to integrate her banked messages and her categories into the app. We wrote to the app developer, and a week later, it was done. So really meeting with people as early as possible. Someone else had highlighted in clinic, they had trialed 4 different communication devices during our assessment, 4 different systems requiring eye tracking, 3 different cameras, 3 different language systems, and my colleague Peggy and I really, at the end of that, had our gut sense for what we thought was going to be the best match. That patient, because they had started early, because they were exploring, was able to say, I like the color contrast in this particular program, I like the layout, and I can't tell you why, but it was easier. And because of that, we went down a path that we wouldn't have been able to do had we met that person sort of at the very last moment, in the heat of the moment. It's never too early, it is never too late to be exploring augmentative communication and assistive technology. When we think about it, in clinic, I introduce it as an insurance policy. You know, we all take out insurance policies, and we do it with the comfort of knowing it's there and the hope that we never need to use it. For many, many people that we've seen, thinking about voice preservation, for example, who've come in very early, who have done voice banking and message banking and double dipping and all sorts of strategies and never needed to use it, but it's there. Similarly, learning augmentative communication tools and strategies and access methods early and being able to collaborate in how they can be used rather than having to learn in the heat of the moment. Move ahead, slide. So augmentative communication assessment, AT assessment and intervention, follows a feature matching approach. And that feature matching is constantly dynamic. We are all changing, and people living with ALS are constantly experiencing different strengths, different needs at different times. The goal is then to recognize that AT-AAC assessment intervention needs to be an ongoing approach that is taking into account all of those changing features over time through repeated assessment and intervention, and also recognizing that people should be using the tools and strategies that meet their needs now and are supporting their needs for tomorrow. People should not be asked to start looking at communication tools that they may need to use someday, and I'll chat about that in just a moment. On our clinic website, and before I finish up, I'm going to show you a QR code where there will be lots of resources available. And the reason it's a QR code is there are so many dynamic projects happening right now. I want to make sure that you continue to have access to some new things that are happening. And so through that QR code, we'll just kind of keep all of the resources building up in there. But a few considerations that have to be looked at from both the speech-language pathology side and the OT, PT, AT side are listed here. And these are the sorts of things that must continue to be part of consideration in looking at augmentative communication and assistive technology. You know, one of our biggest motivators, and Trinity and I have sat and rolled our eyes thinking about this, the number of people we have met over the years who someone had told them, look, you have ALS, you're going to need to get an eye tracking system. They're hard to learn, they're hard to fund, you should get one now. And I can say that I'm pleased to say that some of the developers of some of the major eye tracking companies and leadership are here in the room, and they're friends. And the reason they're friends is I know that they would say that that advice is not appropriate. People should not be walking into a clinic carrying a device, walking and talking, that someone said you have to get this now, because what we experience is people maybe a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, maybe never needing technology that they may choose to control with their eyes, only to find out the tech they now have is no longer on the market. It's no longer the best match. There are better strategies to meet their needs. So we want to always make sure that people recognize there are many options. Because of the frustration with seeing that happen over and over again, we had actually created several years ago in our center this visual for people highlighting all of the options that someone might consider before ever considering eye tracking, before ever deciding eye tracking access is the most consistent, reliable method that I must use to engage in my world and continue to do what I want to do. I have to say, as I look at this, and you think about alternative keyboards, and built into all of our phones right now, one of the great things about my job is to be able to tell people something that is in their pocket that changes their life at that moment that they didn't even know existed. Built into all of our smartphones are so many accessibility features that allow people to continue to do things that they didn't think they could keep doing. So looking at these changes in accommodations, looking at voice control, stylus, switch select, joystick, mouse control, head tracking and mice. If you go down to the exhibits and you go over to Spero's booth and you see the fantastic, thoughtful head mouse system that he's created that looks like it's really going to be a spectacular addition to the assistive technology toolbox for many, many people, it shows you how many options are continuing to develop. Trackballs, maybe eye tracking, maybe looking at brain-computer interface. We'll get to hear much more about that later. But there are, again, many, many options. I also need to say, and during the past 2 days, I've had several people with ALS here come to me and say, we're on your website and we download resources that you've had there for years and use these quick access strategies or these no-tech tools and strategies, and that's kind of what we use throughout the day. So there are many, many different options that need to be considered in the world of AAC and assistive technology. So there are resources here at this QR code if you choose to snap it. Right now, this will take you to website. It will take you to our YouTube channel. It will take you to something I'm really excited about that hopefully is going to be out there for all of us to use by the fall, which, the number one challenge we hear from people living with ALS, especially people who don't have the opportunity to meet regularly with AT-AAC clinicians and don't necessarily have clinics they're going to. So we hear from those folks as well as clinicians, I don't know what's out there. So we've worked on creating a free tool that everybody will be able to use to go through and identify, this is what my concern is, and have it start to direct people to considerations that they then may go back to clinic and say, hey, what do you know about this? Do you think this will help me? That's a tool that I've been developing with the engineering team at Boston University as a domestic tool, and it will be something that will be expanded through the International Alliance to ultimately be available across the world in many languages, taking into account the resources that are available in many different regions of the world. There's my email as well, and with that, I will yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you. The clock isn't working. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us all here today. My name is Trinity. I'm a speech pathologist, and I work with Bridging Voice. We're a nonprofit that provides communication support to people with ALS across the United States, as well as in 18 different countries now. So I really want to dovetail on what John had to say, which is your voice and your joy and your talents are important. ALS removes so much from you that I want to remind you that you still have so much to give and to offer. We want to make sure that you continue to participate in aspects of your life that bring you joy. I think so often we come across people who have communication devices who think that a communication device is only for communication, and that communication is face-to-face with somebody in the same room with you, but it's not. Think about how we communicate without ALS, text messaging, Snapchat, Instagram, all of the amazing content creators that we have seen from people with ALS. They're all communicating. That's all communication that should be addressed. But I want you to know that communication device, whether it's an app such as TD Talk on your cell phone or one of the other amazing apps, again, it's in your hands. There's so much more that you can do other than just talking. And a lot of times a therapist will, encourage someone to get a communication device who really needs it. And they can't buy into it because the thought of losing your ability to verbally communicate will oftentimes stop somebody from accepting a communication device. But again, there's so much more. There's so much more to your life. These communication devices, all of the different brands, there's 3 different providers, I think, downstairs. There's Tobii Dynavox, Forbes, and SmartBass/Talk to Me Technologies downstairs. It's not just about communication, face-to-face. So I want to share with you a few things. This topic is huge. And I think, as John was saying before, we could each take over an hour to have a discussion. So I'm going to go over kind of facial level of all of this information, but I want you to know at the very end of my slide presentation, we have a link to our YouTube channel, which is free, and it has an hour-long video about each one of these topics with links on how to do it and resources with each one of these that are also very specific to whether you're using Communicator or Grid or Mind Express, so you've got access to be able to make these things happen right away. So, first of all, I want to talk about music. For those of you who have music ability, I have 0. Like, I can turn on and off the radio, but beyond that, I've got nothing. But music is still important to be able to connect. And it doesn't just have to be about making music, it can be about listening to music, finding that place of calm maybe when you're having a hard time. So being able to create music using such things as Looklat or iHarp. You can even go into serious composition. Again, FL Studios, the Aumi app are wonderful. I also want to share with you a couple of things. If you join many of the support groups online, you may have come across Mr. Charlie Wren. He always has amazing things to share. Charlie composes music using his communication device and actually makes beautiful written compositions and creates music. Jordan goes by the name of Lee J Beats. He has a YouTube channel where he has made some killer music. Again, all using communication device. And then, of course, listening to music, Spotify, Apple Tunes, Pandora, on your communication device. And again, whether that being your cell phone, where you're giving verbal commands. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to cause anybody else's to go off, but hey, lady, play this. Very important. Another thing, as John was saying, art. So out of all of our presentations that we did, I have to tell you this was one of the biggest one that has been watched over and over again because your communication device can, in fact, create beautiful art. Even if you didn't have that great of art abilities beforehand, consider trying it out. It's really fun. So creative pursuits, again, it can be as simple as just coloring, just to be able to relax, or practice. If you're a speech pathologist or AT specialist and you're trying to get someone used to using eye gaze, have them color. Take away the emotional compact of it. Take away the higher level. Just color and relax and enjoy. Important note to that is, if you do want to consider doing an art, such a thing, Facebook has an eye gaze artist group. And they are amazing. They support each other. They work through, hey, how do you make a line straight? How do you make a curve? Very cool group of people. Independent, you can use ArtRage or ArtSet. And then, talking about AI, as AI has been a hot topic across this, you can also do AI-generated art, where if you're not such a great artist, such as myself, you can give it, hey, I would like to do a picture. Which, by the way, did you guys know that they have walking stick insects here in Texas? Take a little walk around. I was so excited. Like this big, we saw today. So you could say to the computer, whatever access method you're using, make a picture of a walking stick wearing a cowboy hat in the style of Van Gogh. It is amazing, absolutely amazing. All right, so I want to share some of these with you. This is art that has been created by our users, Scott Craig, Stacy Vota, and Amy Thornburg. So you'll see Scott and Stacy both used independent use. Amy used AI, the pixlr.com. Absolutely wonderful. All right, this is a really exciting program. So when we first heard about this program, it was just limited to a few states. It is now open nationwide. This is the Creative Pursuits program by the ALS Association and head by Liz Stanley. And they have an amazing catalog of cool activities to participate in. Music, art, writing, virtual museum tours, different nature interactions, and comedy lab. Again, all run by people who are professionals and be able to support you with your technology in order to participate in these activities. Absolutely awesome. All right, so let's talk about some of these other ones. Of course, reading, being able to access Amazon Kindle, Audible. Another thing I want everyone to know is that most library systems have an online resource, and it's free. So you can get free books, audiobooks, digital library books, and you don't even have to go into the library most of the time. If you just call them and let them know that you have a disability and it's difficult for you to get in, they will get you a virtual library card for you to be able to get all kinds of books that you could ever want to be able to read. And again, you can use your device to customize so that you can access things easily. Writing is another absolutely amazing thing. Please write your story, share your story. Your voice matters, and we want to know your story. So all of the device manufacturers, especially, and the three downstairs, without a doubt, go up to the Tobii Dynavox booth. Go up and say, this is what I want to do. How can I use my computer in order to do that? They will be able to help you with the customizations. So often people receive a device and then they don't, because it's overwhelming, they don't learn all of the things that can be done with it. And then a speech pathologist steps away or someone else steps away and they never learn. Go ask. Let them show you all of the amazing things that you can do with your communication device. Also know that your device is set up for you to be able to use notes and presentation mode. We have quite a few clients, for example, who use their communication device to do podcasts, to do webinars, to continue to present in board meetings. We've even had devices used to present to Congress. Recently, we got the opportunity to watch Steve Gleason accept his ESPY award. Again, and you have all of those same tools right with you in your communication device. Go ask. They're happy to help you. But the most important thing I need you to understand is customization is key. So asking your device rep, asking your speech pathologist, asking your AT clinic or your professional, how can I do this? That goes back to what John was saying. Ask. Put it out there. Do you want it a different color? Do you want it in a different location? Because the answer 99% of the time is yes, it can be customized, it can be done. The software can do it for you. All right, connecting. Staying connected when your world shrinks because it's difficult to get out or difficult to get to a place is really important. It's also important that you continue to be able to participate with support groups. One of the benefits to COVID is that we have a lot more telemedicine interaction, and we want to make sure that you can continue to use your communication software, your communication device, your app, your tablet, all of the above to be able to maintain those connections. But connections, again, are not just face-to-face. They're telephone calls, social media, WhatsApp, texting, voice access, video chat. And please continue to participate in those support groups. Continue to have that connection with your family, your friends, your loved ones, whatever that looks like for you. And then gaming, whether it's online gaming, whether you are a die-hard gambler, such as John's client, whether you, for example, I just recently met a veteran with ALS, and he was kind of part of a support group for some gentlemen who were in his same company when he came home. And one of his friends has developed Parkinson's. And the only way that the group continued to connect with this gentleman was being able to play Call of Duty. And he really wanted to maintain that connection to continue to be with his buddies. So his desire was gaming. And again, more and more, I think I'm seeing more supports from each of the communication companies to be able to do gaming. But it's not just about a communication device either. It's adaptive interfaces, such as John was saying, Spero's Bluetooth mouse, as well as other different gaming app, adaptions. Microsoft has an entire adaptability kit that they provide to be able to, continue gaming. And again, it comes back to that customizations. It comes back to you going to your clinic and saying, I really want to do this. How do I do this? You just have to ask. There are so many people willing and ready to help you. All right. Driving and positioning. I love driving and positioning. It's not, a lot of people will say, yeah, but I don't leave my room. This is kind of where I am at, or I'm worried about bumping into the wall. But how many pals come in, their caregiver or their loved one gets them set up in a position, then they leave to go get themselves ready for the day, and now that pals is uncomfortable, the person with ALS is uncomfortable or hurting, they wish they could put their feet down, they wish they could change their position, or their bottom is starting to hurt because they've been in one place too long. But they don't want to bother their caregiver or their spouse because they're trying to get ready. So using something such as Ability Drive allows you not only to drive, but it also allows you to change your position, protecting your skin, reducing your pain, and improving your quality of life using eye gaze. And the communication devices allow you to do that. Environmental controls. I can't say enough about this, and this is going to lead into Chris. But I want to tell you, I'm going to deviate for just a little bit, because while we were in the audience earlier, I found out that it is Amazon Prime Day, which I don't follow that often. It's like, how would Amazon Prime Day be appropriate for this conversation? It's Amazon Prime Day, which means all of those smart hubs and smart features that are out there are on sale. You can get an Echo Dot with a light bulb, with a smart light bulb, for $27 today. You can get an Amazon Echo for $25. You can get a smart plug that you can turn a lamp on and off with, or anything that you can plug in, for $13. You can get a door lock and a thermostat. But here's the thing, how do I do it? Again, if you ask, you shall receive help. But you can use your communication device to be able to say, I probably could say your name, but I could say, lady, turn on my light. Lady, turn the thermostat to 75 degrees. And again, the great thing about this is that you're not only improving the quality of your life as someone with ALS, but you're also improving the quality of life for your caregiver. Always looking at the way that you can, assist and work together. One of my most favorite things about talking about environmental control features is, when I speak to somebody in the home, I always say, do you have a way to call for help? Oh yeah, I do. My caregiver will do it. I always have my caregiver with me. And I say, But what happens if something happens to your caregiver? You're a team. You're looking out for each other. So can your communication device call 911? Do you have a way to get help for yourself? Do you have a way to get help for somebody that you love? Are you in a safe situation? Are you in a back room with your communication system and you have to leave the front door unlocked because a caregiver is coming in? Or, which puts you at an unsafe situation because you can't know who's always at the door. You could if you have a Ring camera. Another story that I absolutely love is using like a Ring or a Nest camera in a room. Had a mom who wasn't able to get up and help with bedtime, but dad was doing bedtime. Dad came back, was getting himself ready for bed, and she could hear her child upset. It was hard for her to get up to go to the room, so she activated the camera. She used her communication device to say, hi, I'll use my daughter's, Lily's name in this case. Lily, what's wrong? Lily responded, I'm scared. And mom again used her communication device to say, okay, I'm gonna turn the light on for you. So again, the light went on, and then she said, I'm gonna read you a bedtime story. And she used her communication device and she used ChatGPT to come up with a quick bedtime story and was able to read a bedtime story. Again, it's that collaboration using technology to continue to keep you connected, which is so important. And technology is everywhere, and it benefits everyone. So, quick summary, your voice matters and your joy matters. Speak up. Allow your speech pathologist, your communication team, your care services team here at the ALS Association, restore your joy and maintain your connections. So, as I was saying before, each one of these topics that I spoke on today, we have an hour-long video with links included on our YouTube site. You can find it, it's bridgingvoice.com, or bridgingvoice.org is our website, and then we also have our YouTube channel. You can find it through Bridging Voice. All right.
So my name is Chris McFarland. I am the Director of Accessibility Services, Lowe's Livable Home at Lowe's Corporation. And I spent about 30 years in the mobility industry, home accessibility industry. And a lot of what you would always hear is, technology's hard to find. It's hard to access. Where do we go? How do we get it? And a few years back, I had the opportunity to come to Lowe's to build this program and really try to bring to the forefront of a one place where everybody knows and everybody feels comfortable to go to be able to access technology and what's there. And so today what I really want to talk about was just really quickly some product solutions and what I like to call low-cost, high-impact solutions. So when we think about things like automatic door locks and Ring cameras, as Trinity brought up, they really could help to bring a sense of independence, security, and just a general knowledge to keep your both caregivers and yourselves in the know at all times. And being able to access that and making sure that we have the right products, the right services to be able to give you what you need and make sure your access points, whether it be through your smartphones, whether it be through your communication devices, and what works and how that accesses to that, where maybe your husband or wife has to go to work and you're home, and typically maybe you're up at 8 o'clock in the morning and they don't see that camera go off to say that you got out of bed. And being able to log into a camera to be able to see that creates that sense of security for your caregiver, that sense of security for yourself, but also gives you that independence to be able to be home by yourself and not have to worry that if you needed something that someone's not there. Automatic door locks, the ability to, as Trinity just mentioned, to feel safe at home. If you have to use the bathroom but you have to let somebody in, you can open that door and you know who that person is. You're not just opening a door for a stranger or leaving the door open where someone has access to be able to come into your home. Thermostats, right? Being able to control your environment. Is it too cold? Is it too hot? what can I do? How can I access that and make sure that the right situations for your needs are there at all times? Things like touch lamps or Bluetooth sensitive lamps to be able to turn lighting on, or smart light bulbs to be able to access those to turn a light on, whether it be going into a room, out of a room, and give you that sense of independence and that feeling of safety. And as I said, the two slides here kind of go together, but when you think of access and where do I go to get things, probably a lot of people don't think of Lowe's and don't think of that part, right? And there's a million providers. Trini brought up Amazon Prime Days with great deals. There's not just one place to go and get it, but if you want to feel it, touch it, talk to somebody about how it works, there are lots of options out there to be able to go and do that and have that sense of, hey, they understand the product. They may not truly understand your need, but they're willing to listen to your situation and try to find the best solution for what your needs may be. And maybe right now it's something simple like a grab tool, right? Something really easy. And maybe that grab tool just isn't long enough. So how can we interface maybe something within the stores to be able to extend that, build something a little different, something that might help you. Power lift reclining chairs, shower benches, freestanding toilet safety bars, all these little things that we may overlook or not really know what's available, whether it's in the store, whether it's online, where can we go and get it, who can we talk to, what people know a little bit about this. And what I would say is anytime you're looking at any type of technology or assistance, it's always good to talk to your physician, your occupational therapist, your physical therapist. Even your speech pathologist can give you guidance on what products and what things can work the best for your current situation. So we offer a wide range of everything from simple grab bars through electronics and controllable devices through your communication devices, but know that it doesn't stop there. There's so many other things we can do to help to make your life more independent, more secure, whether it be through, modifying, getting some PVC piping and modifying something that makes your life a little bit easier, or your caregiver's life a little bit easier. And as we continue to grow and build and work with therapists and doctors and rehab centers to make sure we have the right services, the right products that meet those needs and make life in general safer, easier, and more independent. And then we also offer a wide range of accessibility solutions where we provide a service where we can come out and do installations. And where this is really big for us is in our bathroom design. We really look at what are the key areas, where is it most important that people look at when they need to modify a home or modify something. Where are those key areas? Bathroom, stairs, and entry into your home. And how do we provide that in a safe, efficient manner? So in partnering with qualified home accessibility companies, we do offer these services where we can come and we can do a free evaluation to make sure that we're providing you the right service of what your current needs are or your future needs are. We could do full bathroom design, layout, and function, and then come in and provide that service to be able to modify and do that, those products and services for you. And then we offer some virtual assessment. So if you go to our website, you could call in and we could do virtual assessments through our CAP certified employees so that they could kind of give you ideas and solutions based on what your current situation may be. So we could talk through each room with you. And as we look at those services, we'll give you suggestions. We won't really tell you, you should do this or you should do that. We'll give you suggestions on what's available and how we can continue to help you. We can help you with products as far as maybe it's just something simple. You need a different type of light switch. You have a flip switch and you need a plate switch, right? We can kind of talk through what we have available and how they work for you and what we could do to benefit, what you could do to benefit from more services. So Lowe's Livable Home is built on providing the right products, the right solutions, and keeping our customers safe and independent within their daily lives and their daily activities.
Wow. You guys have got such a lot of information. it's overwhelming and also very exciting to hear from all of you. I think we want to save a few minutes to allow people to ask questions. I don't know if we have some already. I see someone right here.
Thank y'all very much. Make sure y'all take note of Chris's information, the QR code, and ways to get in touch with his team. Thank you all. Question?
Yeah, I had a question. Does Lowe's work with the VA for the grant?
So we don't work directly with the VA on the grant system. There are some ties on the way the grants work. We do work with the VA if the VA is paying directly or if they're providing the funds to the veteran, and then the veteran can use those funds to pay through Lowe's. So it's dependent on how those funds are given to the customer or to the vet.
Thank you.
We got one in the back, and then we'll go virtual.
There's an update coming to iPhones and iPads this fall that provides native eye tracking control that uses the front-facing camera. Have any of you had a chance to preview this, and what do you think the role of consumer eye tracking technology will be going forward?
Do you want to go? Okay. Oh, wait, he brought you a mic.
It's like a nightclub act now. Okay, so, and not only is Apple and iOS, but others are moving in the same direction. Those who have looked at that currently have identified that while it is a positive step forward, there is a lot of work to make it something that will meet the needs of someone in a reliable way throughout the day for augmentative communication, for environmental control. So I think the word right now is this is really positive. Hold on and let's see where it goes, but we're not where we need to be yet.
That's good.
I fully agree. I second that.
Angela?
So the first question is, how do you get insurance to cover Ability Drive? Do you need to ask for it up front, or can it be added after the fact?
So yes, insurance in a lot of cases do cover Ability Drive. And if your insurance for some reason has an exclusion, there are nonprofits out there who do help support funding that, such as the Gleason Foundation. That being said, yes, most communication devices do support eye tracking for Ability Drive. When John was discussing feature matching in terms of that's where you say, these are the things I want to do with my technology, I always encourage people to ensure that they're asking their reps, does this allow me to drive my wheelchair in the future? So please ask for that.
And I would to that for those who may be exploring a new power wheelchair, that even if right now you're unclear you want to use Ability Drive, that is the time to ask. It's much more difficult to have insurance fund it looking back. Having it built in to a new chair and having that be a feature that you can then use moving forward is going to be a much easier funding through insurance.
And speaking to that, which is one thing I forgot to discuss in my presentation, is for those of you that are here, if you don't know what Ability Drive is, please go downstairs and see Tracy Beavers with Tolt Technologies, and then also see Stuart with New Motion out of Dallas. They are both downstairs. Try it out, see what it's all about.
A partnership. One last question.
When will we get positioning controls for our headrests?
Positioning controls for headrest, as in your ability to change the position of your headrest, or the ability to change position using your headrest?
It was a virtual question.
Okay. Well, we'll go with both of those. So I think headrest positioning is one of the most challenging things because it changes so often. How you're seated in your chair, if you're sliding down in your chair throughout the day, even the loss of ability of head control, so your head oftentimes falls forward. I strongly encourage you to work with AT team to make sure that you have the correct positioning for yourself at the beginning of the day, as well as all the way through your day. Because a lot of times people will come in and out of their chair only once a day. That is really challenging because it also affects your ability to use your communication device if you're not in the right position. So making sure that you're really looking, what does your position look like across your entire day? Now, that being said, Ability Drive has the ability to change your positioning, for example, reclining, tilting, putting your feet up and down. So oftentimes what a PALS will do, will take themselves and turn themselves almost upside down by reclining all the way back so that the gravity will help them to be able to slide back and get them in a good position. But please work with your interdisciplinary team to make sure that you have the good supports in place for your body throughout the entire day so that you're reducing your pain and also continuing to access your communication needs.
And I will just add to that, circling back to an earlier message, ask and collaborate. Ability Drive, which we've referenced a number of times now, has come about because of a person with ALS, Steve Gleason, stating, "This is what I want. I challenge the industry to figure out a way that I can drive my own wheelchair with my eyes and have that kind of control." And that's now turned into an option that you hear readily referenced. So to the question also about controlling the head control and positioning, I would strongly encourage speaking with the wheelchair companies and with AT providers to present that also as the next challenge.
All right, let's thank Michelle and the rest of the panel.